I created 4 Christmas cards for you today using Spellbinders Club Kits. I'm using the Glimmer Hot Foil kit, the Betterpress kit, the 3D Embossing Folder, and the Stencil of the Month. Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome back to my channel. I'm starting with the Stencil of the Month because I'm going to be using some stencil paste and I want this to be able to dry while I'm making my other cards. The Stencil of the Month has 5 stencils. I'm going to be using 4 of them. 3 are going to be creating like the Christmas balls that you would hang on your tree. So I have one down in place and I am using Fossilized Amber Distress Oxide ink for my the little hooks at the top. Well, for the little top part of your Christmas ornament ball that the hooks go through. So I'm going to do that with the Fossilized Amber, and then I'm going to use a Lumberjack Plaid for this first stencil. This first stencil has some Christmas balls, and then you have a second stencil that has Christmas balls. I decided that I need to tape off the little Fossilized Amber pieces because I'm going to get this Lumberjack Plaid all over it. So I'm going to tape those off and then I can just ink blend easily and get us some red Christmas balls. I'm also going to be doing a green Christmas ball and I will be using Evergreen Bough, which I'll be honest, I haven't really used it much before. I think maybe one time before. This year I've been getting into other distress colors that wouldn't tend to be my kind of color that I like Rusty Hinge for Halloween. I love that color. That is my new favorite orange. And I'm thinking that this Evergreen Bough is kind of like my new favorite green right now. So super, super pretty. Here's the second stencil. I don't have to tape anything off because it's just the Christmas balls. And so I'm just going to ink blend those. And then you have these 2 other pieces that has a pattern. And if you do both layers together, you're going to create this full pattern on your background. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be just using one of those stencils. This is the last stencil for the Christmas balls, Fossilized Amber again for our little pieces to the top that hooks to your Christmas ball and then has that little loop on top so you can use your little hangers to hang it on your tree. And I totally forgot one at the bottom. I did not realize till after my photos were done. But it is what it is, right? It's a handmade card, so it's just going to be what it is. So here's the piece I'm going to use. You can see the piece on the left kind of fills in, but I'm not going to do that. And I am using Astro Paste, Slippery When Wet. This has this beautiful gold texture, or gold color, excuse me, and fantastic like glittery texture. And it's going to be so pretty against these Christmas balls. I love it. So I'm just going to put that through my stencil, and you will notice that I put the Christmas ball stencil back over it. So I'm just doing the red ones first, so it actually masks out the rest of the other Christmas balls. It does not mask out the little hanger part at the top, so you do have to be aware of that. Then I can put this aside to dry and then come back with the second Christmas ball stencil and stencil that. And this dried really quick because I was working on my other cards in between. So I'm going to peel back that other stencil, and now it's just on those red Christmas balls. Let's do our Betterpress background while that is drying. This has a little register sheet in it so you know where to line up. We're going to create this plaid background and it is so cute. It just felt so kind of this cozy country Christmas to me, and I love it. I'm going to be using Strawberry ink, Garnet, Cruise, and Black. These are Betterpress inks. I haven't ever tried any different inks on it, and I might try next time. I might try and see how other inks work, but I'm not sure. I am using the porcelain cotton cardstock for the Betterpress system. I have my big piece of stripes and my small piece, and I'm going to start with Strawberry, and then the other color is the Garnet, which is a pink. And I'm just going to ink blend both of those up, and then I can put the top piece to the Betterpress system on top and then run it through my die cut machine. The good thing about that register sheet is that then you can keep stamping because you have to use some of these over and over. So you know exactly where to line them up. Now, I will say it didn't get the best impression of the ink, but I really, really love that for this. I think I need to get re-inkers for my ink is what's happening, but I actually love it for this card because it gives it that kind of worn look, like maybe it's an old worn shirt or a cute Christmassy blanket that's just been worn down but used and cozy and soft. So I moved that big one over, used that strawberry ink, running it through again my die cut machine. So you have two sizes. You have these long pieces that are going to take the long, 5.5 inch way of your card, A2 card panel. And then you have smaller ones that's going to do the 4 1/4 horizontal. So I'm going to line this one up. This is going to be the garnet. I'm going to ink that up. I probably could have done my other big piece too. I kind of wasn't thinking. My brain was in like one mode, but I could have done 2 pieces at one time there, and I just did not. But no big deal. So I could have done this piece and that other little piece. Now I'm going to bring in the cruise color because I do love a good minty or a teal color with pinks and reds for Christmas. I think it's really pretty. And so that is the color I'm kind of going with here. Let's move this down lower. This is our last piece that we have to stamp. And then we have this super cute plaid. So think about all the color combinations that you can do with this. I just think it's so much fun. This is a great, great kit this month. I really like this one, even though it's super simple. And you could do your own plaid however you want to. You could change that up too. Then you have the sentiments, which I'm going to use 3 of these sentiments for 3 of the cards. Well, actually I'm using 4 sentiments for 3 of the cards. And then we have the Glimmer Hot Foil that has its own sentiment. So this is perfect. This gave me plenty of sentiments for the rest of my cards. I am inking that up with the black ink, and there is a coordinating die for this, which I love. So I'm going to use that. I think I did have it just off just a little bit. I didn't have it lined up as perfect as I wanted to, but that's okay. I decided to bring in a fun stencil, and this is the Geometric Snowflake Stencil from scrapbook.com. And I'm also going to be using Frostbite Astro Paste. It is super light. Like when I have the card in person, you don't really see the snowflakes unless you're like tilting it, which I think is kind of fun about it. But I wanted to bring in a little bit of snow on the background of this plaid background. And I'm washing all my stencils immediately. Okay, let's come back to this one because that has dried. Let's bring in that second stencil. Now we can stencil the green Christmas balls. Again, I am using the Astro Paste, slippery when wet. I have that, sorry, my brain just stopped working. The Christmas ball stencil as a mask to the rest of the card. And then I can just kind of go over the Christmas balls using that. And it was sliding around on me. I need to get it I forgot to tape that top one in place really well. And then again, this will just set aside to dry while I'm working on the other card. I have 2 other cards that I'm making. So we're going to use the Glimmer Hot Foil and then the 3D Embossing Folder, which I love. So again, this is the Slippery When Wet Astro Paste. This is Simon Hurley's newer paste. These are the first time I'm using them. I have them and I just keep forgetting to use them. And I thought, oh, this would be perfect because we have a stencil, layering stencils you can just, use paste with. And so I'm glad I remembered because it is a lot of fun. Now I can put that aside to dry, and then when that's dry, we can work on it. I'm going to use a Lumberjack Plaid Distress Oxide ink because I want this really good red background because we're going to use this card with the 3D Embossing Folder. I'm also going to be using a solar paste and a lunar paste on this. So I just wanted to clean my hands off, and now we can bring in that 3D Embossing Folder. This has poinsettias and candy canes and just other greenery and things like that. So I'm trying to make sure that everything is straight. Then I can run that through my die cut machine. It did crack the paper a little bit, so you could see a little bit of white. I'm just going to come back over with my blending tool and that Lumberjack plaid, just what was left on there, and just cover up that those little white areas. Now I'm going to use my fingers and get messy. I am using the Solar Paste in Golden Hour to go over the poinsettias, and then I'm going to be using Lunar Paste, Game Over Lunar Paste, it's a red one, on the candy canes. I'm tapping the excess off onto my work surface so I don't have like a big blob, but look at how pretty this is. And you guys, when you tilt it in the light, it just stands out and you can see the details, the embossed details so nicely. I think it turned out really pretty, and it goes pretty dang fast. But if you're someone who doesn't want to get your fingers dirty, then you could probably use a paintbrush. I'm sure that would work too. I am going to go over these other little buds of flowers just because I wanted some more of this Golden Hour. I love gold anything, so. Okay, now let's use the Game Over Lunar Paste. And when I was going over the candy canes, a little bit of it was kind of getting on the edge next to it. I wasn't overly worried about it, but if you don't want that to get on the edge, I would definitely use a paintbrush for this piece because it was just so fine and thin. Then I'm going to be using Distress Spritz in Fossilized Amber on the back of this, and I'm going to just splatter it heavily because I love all of that gold. Okay, let's do our Glimmer Hot Foil. We have the super cute Christmas lights. I love Christmas lights, die cut stamps, foiling. I just love it all. And then we have this fun foil that came with it. I'm going to trim that excess piece off. This is our card base. This is just going to be at the top. Then there is the Merry Christmas sentiment that I am going to foil in red foil. And we're going to do some Copic coloring, easy Copic coloring on this background. And the paper that I used to foil on was scrapbook.com's mixed media white. It comes in a paper pad and it was pretty thick and it worked beautifully. I got such a fantastic foil. So I'm going to trim the excess of this off, and I'm foiling the same thing with that red foil. I will say the red foil was fine until I ran it through the die cut machine, and then it cracked a little bit in some of the spots, which I've never had before with other foil, so I'm not really sure why it did that, but it did do that because it does have a coordinating die. But let's look at this and see how pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. So yeah, so after I ran this through, it just had a few little cracks. I wasn't overly worried about it because again, it's a handmade card and it's just most definitely not the end of the world. I didn't love it, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do a blue, green, and red Copic marker to color these Christmas bulbs, and you'll be able to see the caps there of the colors I'm using. I'm using 2 markers per color because I do want to have a darker and lighter area. I'm starting with the darker one up at the base of the light and then blending out with that lighter color. And this is just such a fun, playful thing. Again, I love Christmas light anything. I don't know why they're so cute to me, but they are. And I love snowflakes just as much, and Christmas ornaments I do like too. So I don't know, I'm just kind of funny that way. I think they're really a lot of fun. Let's work on that second line below. I was just deciding which color to start with because I didn't want to have too many of the same colors next to each other. And then I had to count, and you know math is hard, so. But now we've got the red, and then we're going to do the blue. And then of course the last one is the green. And like I said, this is the background. I'm not going to trim this down. We're just going to add the sentiment to it, and it's going to just be cute on its own. I think this is a fantastic background. Here's that Merry Christmas sentiment. I did pop it up with some foam adhesive, and everything will be adhered to an A2 size card. I'm bringing back in that Fossilized Amber Distress Spritz. I say it in a lot of my videos. It's my favorite because it gives that gold look, and I'm just going to splatter this on the background to give it a little extra something. I don't know which one of these is my favorite. Let me know down below, you guys, which one is your favorite. Now let's add the sentiment. So the Peace and Joy, this is from the Betterpress. We had all those sentiments that we stamped and die cut. Then we have Warm Winter Wishes, and then this one has 2 sentiments. It says Christmas cheer, making spirits bright, and I'm just going to center those I love all of these cute little sentiments, and I just think these backgrounds are so fun. Okay, so weirdly, I kind of feel like the plaid is my favorite. Even though I love the Christmas lights, I love that 3D embossing folder. I mean, I love all the cards. I love all of these kits this month a lot. I mean, I always love the kits, but sometimes you have some that just you really love. I just think this month was an absolute winner. But that plaid, I really am digging that plaid. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of which one is your favorite. You can see some of those snowflakes there. Oh, it's so pretty. Like, I would wear a plaid shirt like that, I think. I like those colors. Then, of course, we have our stenciled one. I think this one is just so fun, and all the colors that you could do. It's just super fun and playful. And then we're going to finish off with our 3D embossing folder. Look at how all of that shine. Oh, it's so pretty. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I hope you guys feel super inspired, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you guys want to be a part of my Patreon community, there is a link for you guys below in the description.